INDEMO offers us real estate investments in Spain with returns above 15% through a unique asset class, discounted debt. And they've just launched Autoinvest, and so our capital works automatically without us having to lift a finger. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the full setup. We'll configure my personal Autoinvest strategy, and we'll break down the 5 legal stages of the debt recovery process, so you actually understand what you're investing in and how to make smarter decisions with your filters. Let's get into it. But if you're not familiar with INDEMO yet, I'd recommend watching these other videos first so you have a solid understanding of what we're actually investing in. I'll leave the links in the description. INDEMO already had an Autoinvest tool, but it was very basic and, practically speaking, useless. Autoinvest 2.0 brings 4 very important new features compared to the previous version. The first, we can set an investment target higher than the money we currently have on the platform, something the previous version didn't allow. Autoinvest will no longer invest in a note it has already invested in. This is fundamental for properly diversifying our portfolio. The third, automatic investment of deposits. When funds become available in the account from completed investments or new deposits, the system invests them automatically. The fourth new feature, and the most important, advanced filters. We can filter by legal stage of the process, property type, and location. We'll look at this in detail now. Let's go through the setup step by step. Log into your INDEMO account. On the main dashboard, you'll see the Autoinvest option. If you already had a strategy configured, your current setup will appear. If it's your first time, the system will ask you to create a new one, and the first thing you'll need to specify here is the total investment target. You can enter a number higher than your current balance. I usually set a high amount here. That way, every new deposit I make will be automatically invested until that target is reached. Next, we'll define the amount per note. INDEMO's minimum is 10 euros. The lower the amount per note, the more different notes we'll invest in, and the more diversified our portfolio will be. However, it's worth keeping in mind that there aren't an enormous number of notes available. Especially if we're investing large amounts, we'll need to set a not too low figure if we want our money to actually get invested. Autoinvest will not invest in a new note if it has already invested in it previously, as long as you've already reached the maximum limit per asset. This helps avoid accidental double exposure to the same underlying asset and makes diversification simpler. And here I'm going to set 50 euros. But if at some point I deposit a large amount of new funds, I may need to increase this figure so that all the capital gets invested. The cash reserve option lets us set an amount we don't want to be invested. This is useful, for example, if we want to withdraw a certain amount when an investment is returned, while continuing to invest the rest. That way, the money would remain available to withdraw and we wouldn't have to pause the Autoinvest strategy. Further down are the filters. There are 3: location, property type, and legal stage of the process. The most interesting one is the stages filter. Let's look at what each of the 5 stages means. And these are the phases of the full debt recovery process. The first is the prejudicial stage or prejudicial phase. And this is everything that happens before the case reaches a court. The debtor is formally notified and an out-of-court settlement is attempted. It's the phase where a case can be resolved without any judicial proceedings. INDEMO states it clearly on their blog. An out-of-court settlement always has the highest priority. It allows capital to rotate faster and generate double-digit returns. By investing at this stage, we're entering with the maximum discount and the highest return potential, but also with more uncertainty around the timeline. And the second is the judicial stage. Here, the process is already in court. It includes the lawsuit, obtaining the charge certificate, the subrogation, the ruling, and, if the debtor appeals, the opposition and the appeal itself. Subrogation is the formal transfer of credit ownership. The appeal is the challenge the debtor can bring before a higher court. They can only appeal once. And there's something very important that INDEMO highlights on their blog. Surviving the appeal is a very positive turning point for the investor. Once resolved in the creditor's favor, the asset's value rises and the path to exit clears up. This stage has a high discount and high potential, but it's the longest and most unpredictable phase. The third is the auction stage. The property is now appraised, published in the BOE, and a public auction is called. It's a phase with a medium discount. The judicial process is already well advanced. The fourth stage is the award assignment stage. The court formally awards the property to the creditor. Ownership is formalized and the steps toward a sale begin. Legal uncertainty is now resolved. The exit is close. The discount is lower than in the earlier phases. The fifth and final stage is the takeover phase stage. The managing partner takes physical possession of the property. If someone is still inside, eviction is handled. Then comes the sale on the open market. And once completed, the funds are distributed to investors according to the terms of the note. This is the end of the process. It's the phase with the smallest discount, but the most predictable and the fastest to resolve. Something we need to keep in mind is that not all debts go through all 5 stages. In fact, most of the cases INDEMO has closed exited before reaching the auction. The managing partner always works in parallel, looking for faster alternative exits, whether that's an agreement with the debtor or selling the debt to an institutional buyer when the case is well positioned legally. On INDEMO's blog, you can find more explanation of the phases and real examples of already resolved cases. If we look at the discounted debts I've invested in, we can see they were returned before going through the entire process, some at early stages. When we invest manually, we'll see more phases, but these are grouped into 5 for the Autoinvest. In the stage filter, we can select one stage, several, or all of them. If we select, for example, only the prejudicial stage, Autoinvest will only invest in debts that haven't yet reached a court. If we select all, it will invest in notes at any phase, and I'm going to invest across all stages. And below it will show us how many notes matching those criteria the platform has published in the last 6 months. This gives us a rough idea of the diversification possibilities we'll have. INDEMO's CEO describes on their blog 2 approaches he's seeing emerge among the most active investors. The first entering at early stages. Prejudicial or judicial, larger discounts, higher return potential, but a longer wait. The thesis is that if the case resolves before reaching auction, the return can be very high. The second entering at late stages, auction, award assignment, or takeover phase. Smaller discount, but legal uncertainty is already resolved and the exit is more predictable. Slightly lower return, but more controlled. Both strategies fall within INDEMO's target annual return of 15%. A model that is built to withstand up to 5 years in the worst-case scenario. The location filter allows us to narrow down by area within Spain. The property type filter lets us choose between apartment, house, or commercial premises. I'm going to invest in any of them, so I leave all options selected. And once everything is configured, you save the strategy and activate it. The system will start looking for notes that meet your criteria and will invest automatically whenever funds are available. As of today, only one Autoinvest strategy can be configured at a time. But at any point, we can edit and change our strategy's configuration and pause it whenever we like. Before wrapping up, I'd like to mention 3 new features INDEMO has planned for 2026. The first is the secondary market, expected in the 3rd quarter. We'll be able to buy and sell notes between investors, and the secondary market will be integrated into Autoinvest to provide continuous liquidity. The second is early exit, expected in the 2nd quarter. It's a mechanism to sell our notes back to the platform, to the managing partner, with a monthly buyback budget managed on a first-come, first-served basis. And each month, which notes are eligible, will be published in advance. The third new feature is dynamic portfolio revaluation, the portfolio NAV. Instead of seeing the value of your investments frozen at the moment of purchase, the platform will update it in real time, based on case progress and real estate market data. But while we wait for all these new features, we can already set up Autoinvest 2.0 and invest automatically and in a diversified way. And bonuses and cashback campaigns will also apply when using Autoinvest. For new investors signing up through the link in the description, you'll get an extra instant 0.5% cashback when investing a minimum of €250. And for all investors, new and already registered, until March 31st, INDEMO is offering cashback of between 2.5% and 5% depending on the amount invested.